This microtalk is a part of a mini-series on export laws. We encourage you to watch the entire mini-series, available on our Emerging Companies and Venture Capital portal, Springboard. Thank you. Well, hello. My name is Gretel Echarte. I am a Sanctions and Export Controls Counsel at Mayor Brown. I am part of a team that sits across various Mayor Brown offices, working on every aspect of these regulatory areas, from enforcement and investigations to compliance and deal work. And today I'm here to talk about export controls. Now, some of you may wonder, what is export controls, and also does it apply to me? So I'm going to give you a little bit of a primer, and then I'm going to go through a few points that I think are particularly relevant to small companies, startups that are beginning to understand the regulatory landscape that applies to them. So let's get started. The U.S. export controls are a set of laws and regulations that govern the transfer of goods, software, or technology to foreign countries and foreign parties. The overarching purpose of the U.S. export controls is to prevent items that have been made in the U.S. or that have more than a de minimis amount of U.S. content, or that are derived from certain U.S. products or technology, from falling in the wrong hands or being used for the wrong purposes. So we're talking here about, on the one hand, more arcane items like nuclear items or aerospace, chemicals, but also other items that are much more maybe familiar to small startups and companies, especially in the technology sector, such as electronics, computers, semiconductors, and also encryption. And so these are a group of a pretty large universe of items that's called dual-use items that can be used in both civil and military purposes. And so this is a very, very rapidly evolving area of the law, particularly because of the critical role it plays in protecting U.S. national security, and especially in the current geopolitical landscape, with many of the updates to these regulations in the past few years being driven by China's policies and actions in recent years, as well as Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So these regulations apply to the items themselves. And when I say items, I'm thinking goods, software, and technology. And they apply to these items wherever they are located around the globe, and regardless of the nationality of the parties that are dealing with the items. So the U.S. has an extremely broad jurisdictional reach in the context of these regulations. And in some cases, it is so broad that foreign parties producing foreign objects sometimes struggle to exclude U.S. jurisdictions because it's so difficult to exclude. So that's how broad it is. So the agency with primary responsibility for enforcing these regulations is the Bureau of Industry and Security of the Department of Commerce. Violations of the U.S. export controls entail severe penalties, with monetary penalties per violation reaching $300,000 or twice the value of the transaction. So we're talking really high exposure from a monetary perspective, but also there can be more direct consequences as well. So parties, for example, who engage in certain egregious activities could be denied export privileges, which means they would be unable, wherever they're located, they would be unable to export any item subject to U.S. export controls. And so also, in very, very egregious cases, the matter could be referred to the Department of Justice for criminal enforcement. So this is not an area of the law that should be taken lightly or ignored. It has been a pleasure to discuss this topic with you today. To learn more, visit our Emerging Companies and Venture Capital Resource portal, Springboard. Thank you very much.